The night was quiet. Too quiet for a world that had seen so many strange things lately.
Ethan sat alone in his small cabin near the forest's edge, far away from the noise of the city. He liked the silence here. It helped him forget the war that had ended 3 years ago. The war between humans and the unknown visitors from beyond the stars. He was once a soldier. Now he just wanted peace, but peace never stays for long. Outside, the wind carried a low, strange hum. It wasn't like thunder or a plane. It was deeper, like the sky itself was whispering. Ethan looked up, his heart beating faster. A faint blue glow spread across the clouds, growing brighter every second. Then it came, a flash, a tremor, and silence again. The forest went still. Even the crickets stopped singing. Ethan stepped out of his door, scanning the sky. Not again, he whispered. The glow moved, not falling, but landing, somewhere behind the trees. He grabbed his old rifle out of habit, though he knew bullets wouldn't help if it was one of them. He followed the light through the forest until he reached a clearing. There, half buried in the dirt, was something like a small metallic pod. Steam rose from its sides. The air smelled sharp, electric. Ethan's breath caught when the pod's door slowly opened. A figure stepped out, tall, glowing faintly under the moonlight. Her armor was unlike anything human-made. Silver plates that shimmered with blue lines, alive with energy. She had long white hair that floated like light, and her eyes, bright like twin stars, scanned the area as if she was searching for something. Ethan froze. He had seen aliens before, but never like her. The war had shown him monsters, not beauty. The alien woman looked at him, and for a moment neither moved. Then, in a voice both calm and commanding, she spoke. "You are human." Ethan nodded slowly. "I am. Who are you?" Her gaze softened. "My name does not matter now. But I came because your world is in danger again." Ethan blinked. "Danger, the war is over." "They left?" She shook her head. "No, they only paused." Before Ethan could speak again, the ground trembled. The pod began to hum louder. The symbols on her armor flashed red. She turned sharply toward the sky. "They found me," she said, her tone suddenly tense. "Who?" Ethan asked. Her answer came with a sound, a distant roar, mechanical and sharp. From above the clouds, 3 dark shapes appeared, descending fast. "They are the hunters," she said, her voice low but steady. "They will destroy everything in their path." Ethan felt the same fear he had buried years ago rising again. "Why are they after you?" She looked at him with eyes full of pain. "Because I betrayed them." The air shook as the hunter ships drew closer. Blue light flickered across the forest. Ethan ran toward his cabin, shouting, "Come on, we have to move!" But the alien woman didn't move. She looked at her hands, trembling slightly, and then at him. "You do not understand. I came here for you." Ethan stopped, confused. "For me?" "Yes," she said softly. "Because you have something they want." A blast tore through the trees behind them. Fire lit up the night. Ethan pulled her behind a fallen log as debris flew through the air. The hunters were scanning the forest, beams of red light sweeping the ground. Ethan tried to breathe, heart racing. "What do they want from me? I'm nobody." She turned to him, her voice quiet but urgent. "You're not nobody, Ethan. You were the one who stopped the last war, even if you don't know it." He stared at her. "That's impossible. I was just a soldier." She gave a small, sad smile. "You did more than you remember. And now because of that, they will come for you again." The ground shook as one of the hunter ships landed nearby. The alien woman pressed a glowing symbol on her wrist and her armor shifted, covering her fully with a metallic mask. "Stay behind me," she said. "No matter what happens." Ethan looked at her, this strange, beautiful warrior who had fallen from the stars, and something deep inside told him his quiet life was over. As the first hunter emerged from the smoke, tall, armored and inhuman, she raised her weapon. Glowing with blue fire, Ethan whispered, "Who are you really?" She didn't look back. "The one who started the war, and the one who must end it." And as the first blast of energy hit the ground, the forest turned into a battlefield once more. The air smelled of smoke and metal. The night sky was full of red flashes as the hunter ship searched the forest. Ethan and the alien warrior hid behind the ruins of his old barn. The earth shook again when one of the ships landed close by. Ethan tried to keep calm, but his hands were trembling. He whispered, "They're not stopping." "Why are they after you?" The alien woman looked at the glowing marks on her wrist device. Her voice was calm, but her eyes were sharp. They want something that I took from them. Something your people once created. Ethan frowned. Humans? We never had alien tech like that. She looked at him, her expression softening for the first time. Not now. But in another timeline, another version of your world, you did. Ethan didn't understand. Another timeline? Yes, she said quietly. Time in the universe is not a straight line. Your world has been rewritten many times. You just don't remember the others. Ethan shook his head. That's crazy, she smiled slightly. Maybe, but I am standing here, aren't I? Before he could reply, a beam of red light swept over the ground. They ducked. The sound of metal boots crushed the dirt near them. The hunters were close, too close. Ethan whispered, "We need to move." The alien woman nodded. "Follow me." They crawled through the tall grass, then ran behind the hill toward the river. She moved fast, silent, almost invisible. Her armor shimmered with every step, blending with the shadows. When they reached the riverbank, she stopped and looked up at the sky. The portal is not stable. I can't leave yet. Ethan's breath was heavy. Then what do we do? She looked down at the glowing device on her wrist again. We hide, but first you must understand who I am. Ethan's heart pounded. You said you were the one who started the war. Why? Her eyes glowed faintly blue in the dark. Because I believed humans were the enemy. Ethan froze. I was part of the royal guard of the Vega Empire, she said. We saw humans as destroyers, spreading across planets, taking what wasn't theirs. I led the first strike. Her voice trembled for the first time. But then I learned the truth. What truth? Ethan asked softly. She turned to him. That it wasn't humans who started the destruction. It was us at my kind. We needed someone to blame, so we made your species the enemy. Ethan stared at her in disbelief. You started a war against us. Because of a lie? She nodded. Yes, and when I tried to stop it, they marked me as a traitor. The wind howled around them. The forest behind them lit up again as another explosion shook the ground. The hunters were getting closer. Ethan grabbed her arm. Then why come here? Why risk everything? She looked at him, her expression full of something between guilt and hope. Because I found something hidden deep in your world. A secret that can end every war, forever. Ethan frowned. What kind of secret? She pointed at the river. The water shimmered faintly, glowing under the moonlight. Beneath this planet lies something ancient. A code, a living energy, and that connects all timelines. It was made by humans long before you were born. Ethan couldn't believe what he was hearing. That's impossible, she stepped closer. Impossible. Or forgotten. They erased your memories. They made your people believe you were powerless. But humans once built machines that could reshape reality. Ethan shook his head. Even if that's true, why me? Why did you come to my house? Her eyes softened again. Because you are one of them. A descendant of the first architect. The human who created the code. Ethan took a step back. That doesn't make sense. I'm just a normal man. No, she said gently. You are the last key. Only your bloodline can activate it. Ethan's mind spun. Everything he knew about his life, his world, felt like a lie. Before he could speak again, her wrist device beeped sharply. She looked up. They found us. Ethan turned. 3 hunters were moving down the riverbank, their red lights cutting through the mist. The alien warrior touched a symbol on her chest, and her armor unfolded into a glowing blue shield. Get behind me. Ethan crouched low as she raised her weapon. Bolts of energy flashed through the air. One hunter fell, another roared in some alien language. The ground shook again as explosions lit up the night. Ethan yelled over the noise, "We can't fight them all." She turned her head slightly. We don't have to. She pressed a button on her wrist and the pod from earlier reactivated. Its engine roared from the forest, flying toward them in a streak of blue light. As it landed beside them, she grabbed Ethan's arm and pulled him inside. The door sealed shut just as a blast hit the hull. Inside the pod, everything hummed. The walls glowed with alien symbols. Ethan looked around in shock. Where are we going? She looked straight ahead. Somewhere safe. Somewhere they can't follow. The pod shot up through the trees faster than any jet he had ever seen. The world below became a blur of green and black. Ethan finally spoke, voice trembling. Tell me your name. She turned her head slightly, her eyes glowing softer now. Lyara. Lyara, he repeated quietly. And what happens now? She stared out into the stars. Now we find the architect's code before the hunters do. Outside, the earth grew smaller as they left the atmosphere. Two souls from different worlds, flying toward a truth that could change everything. Stars surrounded the small pod as it moved silently through the cold darkness of space. Ethan sat across from Lyara, still trying to understand everything she had said. He looked out through the clear glass window, watching Earth grow smaller behind them. He never imagined he would leave his planet, especially not like this. Lyara sat quietly, her armor dimming its glow. Her face looked calm, but her eyes carried the weight of 1,000 memories. Ethan finally spoke. So this architect's code, it's real? Lyara nodded. Yes, it is hidden in a place even my people fear to go. Your ancestors built it to protect life across the stars. Ethan frowned. Why would humans make something like that and then forget it? She looked down. Because they were betrayed. Their creation was stolen, twisted into a weapon. When they tried to stop it, the universe was reset. Memories erased, history rewritten. Ethan felt a chill run through him. Reset, you mean? The universe was changed? Yes, she said softly. The code can change everything, time, space, even memory. It was meant to heal worlds, but the hunters use a broken version of it to conquer them. He leaned back, his voice low. And you stole something from them? Lyara's eyes glowed faintly blue. I took the final key. Without it, they cannot unlock the full power of the code. Ethan's thoughts spun like a storm. So they're chasing you because you stopped them. She nodded slowly. And they will destroy any planet that shelters me, including yours. Ethan's jaw tightened. Then we have to stop them before they reach Earth again. Lyara looked at him for a long moment. You say that like a warrior. He gave a short laugh. I'm no warrior anymore. I just don't want another war. She smiled faintly. That is what makes you one. The pod suddenly shook, breaking the silence. Red warning lights flashed on the walls. Ethan grabbed the side panel. What's happening? Lyara's fingers danced over the glowing symbols. They've locked onto us. A hunter cruiser just entered the system. Ethan's heart raced. Can we outrun them? She shook her head. Not for long, but maybe we don't have to. Before Ethan could ask what she meant, the pod dove sharply toward a nearby planet. Dark, surrounded by a silver mist. What is that place? He asked. Lyara's voice was calm but serious. A forgotten world. One of the first human colonies and before the reset. The pod broke through the mist, landing roughly on a gray surface covered in strange, glass-like sand. The air outside shimmered faintly with energy. When they stepped out, Ethan felt a strange warmth around him. The ground pulsed with faint blue veins of light, as if the planet itself was alive. Lyara walked ahead, her boots leaving glowing footprints. This is where the architect hid the final code fragment. Ethan looked around, amazed. It feels alive, Lyara nodded. Because it is. The architect gave it life to protect the code. They walked toward a large stone structure half buried in the sand. Symbols glowed across its surface. The same ones Ethan had seen on Lyara's armor. He ran his hand over one of the symbols, and it reacted, lighting up brighter under his touch. Lyara turned quickly. It responds to you, just as I thought. Ethan stared at his glowing hand. What's happening? The architect's bloodline, she said softly. It recognizes you. He stepped back, nervous. I didn't ask for this. No one ever does, Lyara replied. But the universe chooses who it needs. The symbols began to move, rearranging into a doorway of light. Inside, they saw a spiral staircase leading down into the planet. Lyara looked at him. Once we go in, there is no turning back. Ethan took a deep breath. We've come this far. Let's finish it. They entered the light and descended into the glowing tunnel. The deeper they went, the stronger the humming sound became, like a song sung by the planet itself. At the bottom, they reached a massive chamber. In the center floated a sphere of light, surrounded by ancient machines. This, Lyara whispered, is the heart of the architect's code. Ethan stepped closer, feeling the energy pulse through him. His body tingled, his heartbeat matched the rhythm of the light. Lyara watched him carefully. Only you can activate it. But be careful. The code does not only answer to the pure, it tests them. Ethan looked at her. What kind of test? Before she could answer, the chamber shook violently. The light above them turned red. Lyara shouted, "They found us!" The ceiling cracked open as metal drones poured in, red lights flashing. The hunters had arrived. Lyara drew her weapon and fired. Blue light exploded through the room. Ethan ducked behind the console as beams scorched the walls. "Activate the code," she yelled. "I don't know how." Ethan shouted back, "Just feel it. It's inside you." He closed his eyes, placing his hand on the glowing sphere. It felt warm, alive. The light spread through his body into his mind. He saw flashes, cities, stars, battles, and a man who looked just like him. Standing where he stood now, the vision whispered, "You are the continuation." When Ethan opened his eyes, the light around the sphere exploded outward, pushing the hunters back. Lyara turned, shielding her eyes. The red alarms turned blue. The drones froze midair, their systems fried. Ethan's voice shook. "What did I just do?" Lyara lowered her weapon, staring at him in awe. "You awakened it. The code has chosen you." He looked at her, still shaking. "What does that mean?" She stepped closer. "It means the real war is about to begin." The light inside the chamber slowly faded. The air was still, filled with soft blue sparks that floated like dust. Ethan stood in silence, staring at his hands. They still glowed faintly with energy. Lyara lowered her weapon, her voice calm but filled with awe. "You did it," she whispered. "You connected with the code." Ethan looked at her, confused. "I didn't mean to, it just happened." She stepped closer. "It means the code accepted you. That's something even the architects could never control." Ethan rubbed his forehead, trying to steady his breathing. "What does that even mean? What am I supposed to do now?" Lyara looked toward the ceiling where smoke still drifted from the destroyed drones. "It means your memory may hold answers even you don't know yet." "My memory?" Ethan frowned. "I don't remember anything like that." She nodded slowly. "Because your memories were sealed. The code protects its carrier by hiding the truth until the right moment." Ethan gave a small, tired laugh. "So now I'm carrying some universe-changing secret and I don't even know what it is." Lyara gave him a soft look. "You're more than you think, Ethan." Before he could answer, the chamber lights flickered. The ground trembled again, deeper this time. Lyara looked up sharply. "No, it's awakening too soon." "What is?" "The heart of the code," she said. "When you touched it, you triggered its defense system." Ethan's voice grew tense. "What kind of defense?" Before she could reply, a loud cracking sound echoed through the walls. The glowing machines began to shift and move, forming shapes, humanoid, metallic, and ancient. "They are the Guardians," Lyara said, drawing her weapon, "created by the first humans to protect the code." Ethan stepped back. "Are they friendly?" Lyara shook her head. "Not to intruders." The Guardians turned their glowing eyes toward them. One spoke in a deep mechanical voice. "Unauthorized access detected." "Identify yourself," Lyara raised her hand. "We are not enemies. We seek the truth." The Guardian paused, scanning her. "Non-human species detected, unauthorized." Its chest glowed red. A beam of light shot toward them. Lyara pushed Ethan aside just in time. The beam exploded against the wall, sending sparks everywhere. Ethan shouted, "Wait! Stop, I can explain!" He stepped forward, raising his glowing hand. The Guardians froze. Their red light turned blue. "Identity confirmed," one said. "Descendant of the architect recognized." The others lowered their weapons and knelt. Lyara looked at Ethan with wide eyes. "They obey you." Ethan felt his heart pounding. "I don't understand why." One Guardian spoke again. "The memory chamber is open. Proceed, architect." A doorway appeared behind them, glowing bright gold. Lyara nodded. "This is it. The place where the truth lies." Ethan hesitated. "And what if I don't want to know the truth?" She looked at him softly. "The truth doesn't ask for permission." They stepped through the doorway into another chamber. This one was smaller, filled with floating crystals that showed flickering images. Of Earth, of stars, of people Ethan didn't recognize. Then suddenly, one crystal glowed brighter than the rest. It showed a man standing beside an alien woman, almost identical to Lyara. The man looked exactly like Ethan. Ethan's voice trembled. That can't be me." Lyara's eyes widened. "It's not you. It's him, the original architect." The image moved. The man was speaking. "If you are seeing this, then the cycle has begun again. The hunters will return, and only my descendant can finish what I started." Ethan watched, frozen. The code was built to create life, not destroy it, the hologram continued. But the Vega Empire took it from us. Lyara, if you're still alive, protect the human key. The image flickered out. Ethan turned to Lyara slowly. He said your name. Liara's lips trembled. That's impossible. That message is thousands of years old. Ethan stared at her. Then how are you still alive? She looked away, her voice breaking. Because I was there, Ethan. I fought beside him. Your ancestor. He felt like the ground had vanished beneath him. You knew him? She nodded. I was his protector. And his friend. When he died, the code reset everything. Time, history, even me. It made me immortal so I could find you when the cycle began again. Ethan's voice was barely a whisper. So I'm not the first? No, she said softly. You are the last. For a long moment, they both stood in silence, surrounded by the glow of forgotten memories. Then the floor shook again. The Guardians turned toward the entrance. One shouted, "Warning, hunter signal detected, incoming." Lyara grabbed Ethan's arm. "We have to go now." Ethan looked back at the crystal where his ancestor's face had been. His heart felt heavy but determined. He whispered, "I won't let it end the same way." Lyara nodded, her voice fierce again. "Then you must become what he was, the true architect." As they ran toward the exit, the walls behind them began to collapse, and the glowing light of the code followed them like a heartbeat, growing stronger, brighter, alive. Outside, the sky turned red. The hunters had arrived. The sky burned red. The hunter ships hovered above the ruins of the old world, their engines screaming like thunder. Beams of light cut across the ground, hunting for movement. Ethan and Lyara ran through the dust storm, their footsteps echoing on the glassy surface. Behind them, the temple that held the architect's code collapsed into the glowing sand. Ethan's heart pounded. "There are too many of them," he shouted. Liara's eyes glowed faintly blue. "We can't run forever. The code inside you, it can stop them. You just have to trust it." He looked at her desperately. "I don't even understand it." "You don't have to understand it," she said firmly. "You just have to feel it." A beam exploded near them, throwing Ethan to the ground. Lyara turned and fired her plasma rifle, hitting one of the flying drones. The explosion lit up her armor in flashes of blue light. She pulled Ethan to his feet. "Come on." They ran toward a canyon where the sand glowed in veins of light. The hunter's ship circled above, sending squads of machines down after them. Ethan stumbled but kept moving. He felt the code burning inside him, not painful but powerful, like a storm waiting to escape. As they reached the canyon's edge, Lyara stopped and looked back. "They'll surround us here." Ethan's breathing was heavy. "Then what do we do?" She looked at him with calm eyes. "We make our stand." The first hunter landed, a giant metal creature with long arms and glowing red armor. It looked almost human, but its voice was deep and cold. "Return the key, traitor." Lyara aimed her weapon. "Come and take it." The hunter raised its hand and fired. The blast hit Liara's shield, shattering it. She dropped to one knee, armor cracked. Ethan rushed to her side. "Lyara!" She coughed but smiled faintly. "It's all right. You're what they want. Don't let them take you." Ethan clenched his fists. "I won't." The hunter's eyes locked on him. "You cannot resist the code. It belongs to us." Ethan felt something ignite inside his chest. The air around him shimmered. The veins of glowing sand beneath his feet pulsed with light. Liara's eyes widened. "Ethan, it's awakening." The ground began to tremble. Energy flowed through Ethan's body, lifting him slightly off the ground. His eyes turned blue, the same as Liara's. He raised his hand and the light from the canyon answered him. The sand rose like waves, forming shapes, shields, blades, and walls of pure energy. The hunter stepped forward, firing again, but the beams dissolved before reaching him. Ethan's voice was deeper, echoing. "You said the code was meant to protect life. Then it will protect it now." He opened his palm and a burst of energy exploded outward. The shock wave through the hunter's back, their armor melting in the light. Lyara watched, amazed and terrified at the same time. She whispered, "You're becoming the architect." Ethan turned to her. "I can feel everything. Every world, every voice, every life." She reached out to him. "Ethan, listen to me. The code gives life, but it can also consume you if you lose control. Don't let it take your mind." He looked at her, his eyes glowing brighter than the stars. "Then stay with me. Keep me human. Lyara smiled softly. Always. Another blast hit nearby. A larger hunter descended from the sky, towering, massive, the leader of the fleet. Its voice shook the air. We are the rightful heirs of the code. You are nothing but a remnant of failure. Ethan's glow flickered, his power shaking. Lyara stepped in front of him. You'll have to go through me first. The hunter raised its arm, energy building at its core. Lyara charged forward, striking with her blade of light. She cut through its armor, but the creature caught her with one massive hand, slamming her to the ground. Lyara, Ethan shouted. She tried to move, but her armor was broken, sparks flying. Her voice was weak. Ethan. Finish it. Ethan's hands trembled. I can't do this without you. She smiled faintly. You were never meant to do it alone. You're meant to lead us all. As the new architect, tears filled his eyes. The light around him began to pulse faster. The code's power surged through him like a storm. He looked up at the hunter, voice echoing like thunder. You destroyed my world. You hunted her kind. You turned the gift of creation into a weapon. No more. The entire canyon lit up with blue and white light. The hunters screamed as their machines melted in the storm of energy. The leader tried to resist, but the light pierced through its core, shattering it into dust. Silence followed. Only the sound of the wind remained. Ethan fell to his knees, the glow fading from his body. He crawled to Lyara's side. She was breathing slowly, her eyes half open. He held her hand. You saved me, she smiled softly. No, Ethan. You saved us all. Her armor light dimmed, her hand growing still. Ethan bowed his head, tears falling on the glowing sand. The world around him shimmered, the code responding to his grief. The canyon filled with light once more. Not violent this time, but gentle. Like dawn, Ethan whispered, Rest now, Lyara, your war is over. As he stood, the energy around him began to take form, a symbol of the architect glowing on his chest. The guardians appeared in the distance, kneeling before him. Architect, they said in unison, what are your orders? Ethan looked up at the sky, his voice calm but powerful. We rebuild. We protect. No more wars. The light of the code rose into the heavens, spreading across the stars and a signal that the cycle was broken at last. End of Part 5, the final architect tone summary. Epic battle plus emotional sacrifice. Ethan fully awakens as the new architect. Lyara's heroic death creates emotional depth and closure. Perfect balance of action, emotion, and cosmic power. Ideal for HFY storytelling. Ends with hope but leaves room for a final part, Part 6 for resolution and legacy. The storm had ended. The sky above the canyon was clear now, full of golden light and quiet stars. The battlefield was silent, covered in the soft glow of the code's energy. Ethan stood alone, the light from his chest fading slowly. The symbol of the architect still pulsed gently like a calm heartbeat. Around him, the guardians kneeled in silence, waiting for his command. He looked at them, his voice tired but steady. It's over. The leader of the guardians spoke. The hunters are gone. Their ships have vanished beyond the system. You have restored balance, architect. Ethan looked toward the horizon where Lyara had fallen. The sand around her shimmered softly with blue light, wrapping her in a gentle glow, as if the world itself was guarding her. He walked closer, kneeling beside her. Her face looked peaceful now, her white hair glowing under the rising sun. He whispered, You kept your promise, Lyara. The light around her body grew brighter, forming soft shapes in the air. Then from the light her voice echoed, calm, warm, and full of love. Ethan, do not mourn me. My purpose was to find you, to help you remember who you truly are. Ethan's eyes filled with tears. I can't do this without you. The glowing figure smiled. You already are. The code flows through you now. You carry all of us, our memories, our stories, our hope. He reached out, his hand passing through the light. You said once you fought beside my ancestor. Now you're part of me too. The light flickered gently. Then maybe I have finally come home. Her voice faded into the wind, leaving only silence and the warm glow of dawn. Ethan stood there for a long moment, watching the first sun rise over the strange world. For the first time it felt peaceful. The guardians approached him again. What are your orders, architect? He looked up at the bright sky. We rebuild. No more weapons, no more wars. The code will be used for life and to heal, to create. The guardians bowed. As you command. Ethan turned toward the ruins of the ancient temple. In the center of the battlefield, the code's heart still floated, pulsing slowly like a living star. He walked toward it, the wind carrying soft whispers of lost voices. When he touched it again, the light spread across the surface of the planet. The sand turned green. Trees began to grow, their roots glowing with the same blue energy. Rivers formed, skies cleared. The world was coming alive again. Ethan smiled softly. A new beginning. He felt the code connecting him to everything, to the stars, to the forgotten human colonies, to other worlds waiting for hope. He could see them all, countless planets once broken by war now lighting up again, reborn. A voice echoed in his mind, the memory of his ancestor. The architect does not rule, he restores. Ethan closed his eyes and whispered, "Then let the universe heal." The light spread beyond the world, reaching the dark corners of space. The old scars of war began to fade. The code rebuilt what was lost in one world, one life at a time. Then, in the middle of the light, something unexpected happened. A faint figure appeared beside him, Lyara. Not in armor this time, but in her true form, radiant, calm, and smiling. Ethan turned in surprise. "Lyara?" Her voice was soft, almost like music. Only a memory, but one that will never fade. He smiled faintly. "You're still here. Always," she said. "Every time you rebuild a world, I'll be there." The light around her grew stronger, then scattered into 1,000 tiny stars. They floated into the sky like seeds of light, spreading across space. Ethan looked up as the stars multiplied, covering the night with a new constellation, one shaped like her. He whispered, "The Lyara constellation." The Guardians looked up too. "The warrior who saved creation," one said softly. Ethan stood at the edge of the canyon, his long shadow stretching across the glowing valley. The wind carried her voice one last time. "The universe is yours now, Ethan. Protect it well." He smiled, looking at the sunrise. "I will." As the first light of the new day touched his face, Ethan closed his eyes. The architect's symbol glowed on his chest once more, and then, like a spark carried by the wind, he disappeared, becoming part of the code, part of the light, part of the new dawn.